What's up, guys? Today's episode 14 of Figureoutable, and what we're here to do is to remind you that your environment is actually stronger than your discipline. So what that means is I'm going to break down basically how your environment is affecting you and possibly preventing you from moving on and up in your life and making the changes you so desperately need in order to have the best life possible. I'm going through this personally right now. We've been doing this for a little over a quarter of the year. I've learned a lot in this process, and I've also made some changes in my own life because I figured if I got to talk the talk, I need to walk the walk. So one of the big changes that I've made in 2026 is I don't hit the snooze button in the morning. And another one is I have cut back on my social media consumption. So the doom scrolling, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with, is something that I've been addicted to and struggling with for a long time. It all started when I worked in the logistics industry, which was a 7-day-a-week job. I was in front of my phone or my computer 24/7, and quite frankly, I was so anticipating the next email that I would kind of just mess around on my phone to wait for the next bid, the next problem, the next fire to put out, and lo and behold, I created a pretty nasty habit for myself. When I talk about your environment and how it affects you, this could be something as simple as the friends that you hang out with and the choices that they make affecting the choices you make. Or it could be as simple as putting your phone next to your bed or on the dresser instead of next to your bed so you're not tempted to A, hit the snooze button, B, doom scroll right before you go to sleep. I personally believe that motivation is overrated. Willpower is extremely important, and it's not something that you can grasp all the time, whether or not you have it. And if you're waiting on the perfect day or a good mood in order to hold yourself accountable with your willpower, it's never going to come and you don't have it to begin with. People in my life tell me that I'm disciplined, and I sort of take issue with that. While it should be a compliment, I can very easily tell you that it's mostly habit that gets me through my day. Sometimes what gets you off the couch is motivation. What keeps you going is discipline. But then what makes you stay is the habit. Once you have the habit established, it doesn't take discipline or discomfort in order for you to keep on doing the things that matter in your life or stop doing the things that don't matter in your life. All about establishing a habit. And in previous episodes, I've talked a little bit about that. Some people have always said that it's a 14-day window in order to create or break a new habit, but science actually shows it could take a lot longer. It might be a matter of 3 months of going to the gym 3 times a week for that habit to be established. 2 weeks, I can tell you from personal experience, it's not going to cut it. Now, 2 weeks when you want to quit smoking might be enough because you're thinking about smoking every single day. But when you're talking about exercise, the reason why that might take longer for you to establish the habit and live in the world of discipline and discomfort to get there is because the gym is only 3 days a week and it's only maybe an hour a day those 3 days of the week. You're not thinking about it 24/7 and wrestling it 24/7. I think that the more time that you spend thinking about the thing you wish to change during your day, the easier it is to form that habit in a shorter window of time. That's why smoking is a great example. If you're quitting nicotine and you're feeling the withdrawal, you're feeling it all day long, you're irritable. So 14 days later, you're free and clear. Yeah, you'll still have those moments, those urges, the moment of stress where you think that cigarette's gonna add value, but really after 14 days, you're past the difficult point. You've already started to form new habits with your coffee, with your drive to work. Going back to the actual subject here, which is, changing your environment. If you vape, take the vape and put it in your backpack before you go to work so you're not vaping in your car. If you hit the snooze button, move the phone from your bedside table to the dresser so you have to get out of bed in order to get up in the morning. If you spend way too much time getting ready in the morning, Anthony and I actually had a disagreement about this. Take your clothes and lay them out for the days of the week. And what I explained was that in the past, when I used to have to wear clothes like a button-down t-shirt or a tie and a belt with nice shoes, it was a pain in the ass for me to have to iron a shirt at 7:30 in the morning. So what I would do on Sundays, I would iron all 5 shirts for all 5 days of the week. I would lay out all 5 pair of pants, the belt, the shoes. So that Monday morning when it rolled around, I got out of bed, I threw my clothes on after a shower, after brushing my teeth. But I had it ready, so I spent less mental energy trying to get ready for the day, and I was more prepared, and I thanked myself for it. In my life, I've got things flying all over the place, and in some cases, they're unhandled responsibilities. When I'm in that situation, it makes me feel like I'm in high school again. In high school, I was the biggest procrastinator ever. I think part of that was a fear of life and a fear of responsibilities. Like, I'd rather sit at home and play RuneScape, which was a role-playing game on the computer, for 7 hours a day than get my Spanish homework done, right? When I finally got off my butt and I organized my room, my office, and I tackled all those crappy responsibilities, I felt like the weight was lifted off my back and I felt free. And I think a lot of us right now are living in that environment where our room is a mess, our kitchen is a mess, the crisper drawer in the refrigerator's got a bunch of dead vegetables from 3 months ago that you planned to cook that you didn't do it. Take an hour, go clean up a room, go do something, right? Make a change to clean up that environment, because when you wake up in that environment and it's sturdy and steady, you're gonna feel a hell of a lot better about starting on that new task. Discipline's honestly gonna fail a lot when you're tired or stressed. And I want to remind you guys that discipline is essentially just doing what you don't want to do when you don't want to do it. Discipline is folding the laundry as soon as the dryer's finished. Discipline is going on that run because you made that commitment to your girlfriend that you were going to get off your butt and get in shape. After a while, that thing is going to fade. I go to the gym on autopilot. I cook all my own food on autopilot. I am not disciplined in that regard. I have habits, and those habits make it easy. Why do successful people look disciplined, but I think they're not actually disciplined? It's because they're not fighting themselves. Successful people often create healthy coping mechanisms. And we talked about the adversity advantage, which means that some people who come from a really challenged upbringing, if they're taught coping mechanisms, can achieve higher and greater things in life. So if you guys are watching this video right now, I want you to feel confident that your challenges can become your gift. These people who appear to have it all put together might appear disciplined like myself, but they're really just running on habit. I've given myself enough time with these behaviors for them to settle in and become automatic. You want to get autopilot working in your favor, and right now it is working for you, but it's working in the wrong way. You're already on autopilot. In the last 2 weeks, I've been telling all the people in my life that I've quit social media, and I'm like admitting that I have this addiction to doom scrolling, and people look at me kind of funny. They're like, yeah, so what, dude? Everybody looks at their phone. And I think it's true, and I quite frankly think that the vast majority of society today is addicted to the little computer that's in their pocket. They're just not talking about it. It has saturated everybody's environment. You'll see couples going on dates, myself included at times, where we're just staring at our phone, we're not having conversation. And I'm trying to be better than that. I'm trying to bring it back to a time when sitting across the table from somebody meant that you would have a meaningful conversation and you enjoyed each other's time. And you're not enjoying each other's time if you're just sitting next to each other looking at your phones. You might as well be on a public transit bus sitting next to a stranger. It really makes no difference at that point. So it's time for us to kind of take an honest assessment of where we're at with these things in our life that are supposed to provide value, and ask if that's what they're actually doing. And if they're not, let's remove them and let's take a step back. We do Facebook ads here at Pure Infinity, which is my full-time job. And one of the guys on Facebook commented on our ads. He's like, I'm so sick of these effing ads. That's all Facebook is right now. And the funny thing is, I responded, I snapped back and I said, dude, I hear you. Use less Facebook. Back when Facebook came out, that was actually for us. It was a way for us to connect and share our thoughts, and we used it to communicate with one another. But now Facebook is a little different, and the only person sharing their thoughts on Facebook is your crazy aunt who you don't talk to at Thanksgiving dinner. My point is, Facebook's not for you. Instagram is not for you. They are for advertisers, myself included, to get into your pockets. It is a tool utilized to collect your hobbies, your passions, your data, and figure out what it is that you want to spend your money on so you can spend more money on it. Facebook's not for you, and neither is Instagram. And to some degree, neither is YouTube. But the difference is that YouTube allows you to curate your experience, and if you're willing to pay $15 a month, you don't have to watch ads, which is amazing. And that's actually what I do. I spend $15 a month on it because I like to watch YouTube videos, which right now, no short form content has allowed my brain to heal. So right now it's long form that I watch because I want to learn from other people. I want to learn about the world. I want to learn about business or investing, and I want to see other people who provide value so that I can learn how to be better at doing it for you guys. 2 insights from this week that I think you guys can benefit from. Somebody was talking to me, a customer of mine, and he mentioned the fact that bad news travels fast, and the vast majority of the news headlines we see are negative. And I want you to imagine for a moment that the only reason why that works, and the only reason why those news articles get views, those videos get views, is because we have a beautiful world that we live in. There are a lot of things that are wrong with the world, a lot of things that are broken that should be fixed, and things that are getting worse, but there are so many things about life that are amazing and we take for granted every single day. If, for instance, the world was broken and there was war in the streets and we couldn't feed our kids, then if we did have news, the news that would actually travel fast is 2 people saved a cat from a tree, a firefighter ran into a building and saved an infant. We would celebrate those stories because of contrast. So in a world full of light, the darkness shines bright. And in a world full of darkness, lightness shines through. It's all about contrast. And I really believe that some of the negativity we get wrapped up in is because otherwise we have an amazing life. You're not going to starve this winter. You're not going to freeze to death either. Your daughter's probably not going to die from the flu. We don't have a lion or a tiger or bear chasing us up a tree. We live in a beautiful world where even the poorest people in this country, while they do have struggle, have food on the table, a roof over their head, and a smartphone in their pockets. Matter of fact, next time you're out on the streets, take a look at the nearest homeless person. They have a cell phone. They have a $1,000 computer in their pocket. While we might have plenty of negative things to focus on, I want to ask you guys, do you have a part-time or a full-time job in complaining? Make sure it's a part-time job and make sure you're not hyper-focused on the negative because that's how they want you to be. As we wrap this episode up, we got 2 questions from viewers. Thank you guys, by the way. Not that serious. I always tell myself I need more discipline, but no matter how motivated I get, I fall off. Is discipline overrated or am I just bad at it? Everybody's bad at discipline. It is not easy for anybody. And quite frankly, you're probably just not giving yourself enough time for this to be established as a habit. Keep trying until you break through and you actually make meaningful habits in your life. Alex on lunch. I do great when everything is set up right, but as soon as life gets chaotic, my habits disappear. How do you stay on track when your environment isn't ideal? Stop biting off more than you can chew. Sounds like to me you get everything set up for a perfect recipe to be able to tackle 5 or 6 new things that you want to fix about your life all at once. Just focus on one of them. If you set it up for 5 tasks at once, when you break on the one, it'll give you an excuse to break on the others. And psychologically, you're fighting against yourself. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, if you like this content, drop a comment below. Maybe we'll be talking about you in the next episode. See ya.